Fall Guys, like any other multiplayer game, has a set of lingos and terms that players will use. In this video, we'll be discussing some of the lingos and terms that you need to know. DESYNC, the shorthand for desynchronization. It's basically when players get out of sync with the game's servers. Essentially, what may seem far away on your screen could be closer on someone else's screen. You think you grabbed the crown on Fall Mountain first, but on their screen, they grabbed it first and the game will give them the win since they were more in sync with the game's servers. If someone grabs your tail but is far away from your screen, on their screen, they may be closer to you. Since you have to be close to steal tails and such, DESYNC is a lot more apparent in this game than most. DESYNC is just not a Fall Guys only problem, it's a problem with all online based games. Usually the higher your ping is, the more severe DESYNC gets. Ping. Not a Fall Guys term, but a term you should still know. Ping is the time it takes for a network packet to leave your computer and onto another computer, or in this case, the game servers. And this is usually measured in milliseconds. Basically, the higher your ping, the worse your connection will be. And on the other hand, the lower the ping, the better your connection will be. You can tell you're having terrible ping or terrible connection based on the red blinking Wi-Fi symbol on the bottom right of your screen. SS1. SS1 stands for Symphony Season 1, and that's what some players call Season 1 free-for-all. In the game's files, you'll find SS1 written all over, so OG players started calling it SS1. This was probably going to be the original name for the season, but Mediatonic probably changed it to emphasize Fall Guys being free for all platforms. Peter Panning. Peter Pan refers to a player who's in front of everyone on DoorDash or Lost Temple and gets multiple doors right in a row. That player gets referred to as Peter Pan, and the action of them getting the doors right is Peter Panning. I'll be honest with you, this is not a term. I just heard one of my friends, that being YouTuber VG Marcus, say this, and I so want this to be a term because it's hilarious. Ragdolling. Fall Guys has ragdoll physics, so if you land from a high place, you will definitely ragdoll. It's characterized by your character stumbling around and just being unable to move. If you hit someone or something, you'll also ragdoll. Fall Guys isn't the first game to have ragdoll physics and certainly won't be the last, so this isn't a bug, yet a game design choice. YEETUS. Introduced back in 2020, this hammer has yellow stripes and a star on each side of its face, and the YEETUS is used to hit players far forwards. People call it getting yeeted. This is different from the rotating hammers that you may come across. Those are there to hinder and stop you, whereas this one is meant to hit you far forwards. However, taking the YEETUS in certain maps like Slime Climb and Slime Scraper could spell you death. This is incredibly a high risk, high reward strategy, but if you master it, it's a must take. I definitely recommend spending the time to practice the YEETUS. Comment below if I should make a YouTube video on how to take all of the YEETUS's in the game. Death Warp. As of Season 1 free-for-all, death warping has been patched and no longer works. This bug was in the game for over a year. It worked in Big Fence and Seesaw. It's essentially where you hit the edge of a checkpoint, tag it, and then you would have a chance to spawn forwards. This was much faster than trying to walk all the way forwards. Perfect Deathmatch. This is the variant of Perfect Match that contains the pink rotating bar. Since this variant would eliminate a high number of players, the official Fall Guys TikTok account named it Perfect Deathmatch, and it's been in use ever since. The variant was introduced in November 10th, 2020. Parkour Party. Block Party's variant, which was introduced on August 31st, 2021. This variant's name has been officially recognized in the Fall Guys Discord server, and one of the first instances of the name being used was during the Fall Guys server bracket competition they were having, in which people had to guess the server staff's favorite levels in the game. Some people also call it Death Party as well, however Parkour Party is the most common name out of the two that's used. Bigger Shots. Big Shots 5 kind of variant. The first time I've seen the name being used was also during the Fall Guys server bracket competition. This was introduced on May 13th, 2021. Bigger Shots is the more difficult variant of Big Shots. Jump Blowdown. This is the variant of Jump Showdown that contains a Blizzard fan. This variant was introduced on February 2nd, 2021. Variant. I've been mentioning variants lately, but what is a variant? Basically, a variant is a different version of the map, but with either obstacles added or taken away. An example of this is in Slime Climb. You may get the variant where there's low gravity in the middle section with the yellow beams, or a variant where there's a thick bonkus on the final path. Usually variants are added in the mid-season updates. Variants keep maps from being too stale, and there are a ton of variants for most maps in the game. Sometimes a variant is used exclusively for limited time modes, such as hard mode, which contains all the hard variants in one playlist. Thick bonkus. The thick bonkus are giant swinging cylinders with spikes covering them, and they're an obstacle that was introduced on May 10th, 2020, or when Season 2 2020 came out. You can see them in maps such as Night Fever, Slime Climb, Tundra Run, and more. Bollards. These things right here are actually called bollards. Fall Guys released a skin of it calling it such. However, most people I know call it donuts, and since, well, it looks like donuts, and I myself call them that as well due to habit. However, bollards is the official name. Laser Hurdle Skip. Slime Scraper is the main map that people do this in. You can use the laser hurdle to hit you onto the 3rd floor. Bar jumping. Again, I'm not sure if they patched this out, but in Season 6 and before that, if you jumped on the bar and kept jumping on it while holding forwards and backwards, you could get onto a tile that was incredibly far away from you. This was incredibly difficult to do. Even pro players suffered with this sometimes. Golden Glizzy. This refers to the golden hot dog that was first released on August 17th, 2021. And this alive event was reoccurring, so players who didn't have a chance to get it could get it. Glizzy is a slang used for hot dog, so it's called the golden hot dog. You will hear people refer to golden hot shot and the golden boxing glove as glizzy, but tell them that they are wrong and that the golden glizzy is the golden hot dog. If that makes me a boomer, so be it. Literally, it's in the name, golden glizzy. Glizzy means hot dog, and there's only one. Sprint jumping. You sprint jump by running while jumping. You'll hear me often say this in my tips and tricks videos. BERT. On November 26th, 2020, Senior Community Manager B made a tweet saying, thinking about this cute thing. And on the next tweet, she said she wanted to name it BERT. And with that, the rest is history. BERT is the purple penguin that spawns in maps such as Penguin Pursuit, but you can also find BERT spawn in other maps too sometimes. SHERBERT, essentially the sister/jungle version of BERT. SHERBERT was given the name by Reddit user Mitch of Gilad on July 14th, 2021, and it was made officially canon by the official Fall Guys Twitter page. SHERBERT only spawns in Penguin Pool Party, which is season 5's version of Penguin Pursuit, but instead of teams, it's solos. Smart skins. This is a term that's not widely used, and I think it should be. One of the first instances that I found of this term being used was on this Reddit post made by No Man's Lemon on the 17th of January 2022. Smart skins are skins that have different variants. For example, the red and purple Among Us skin sometimes has a chance of being the imposter, whereas the orange Among Us skin can be the dead Among Us. The Bugsnack skin can also change along with the Mary skin from A Nightmare Before Christmas. I'll leave a Reddit post which goes into more detail about smart skins and the various skins that are able to change in the description below. Pancake. Pancake refers to FG Pancake, who is a well-known leaker in the Fall Guys community. 5.fun or 5.1. Added on August 31st, 2021, this was Mediatonic's attempt to split their mid-season update into smaller parts. 5.fun was the first of these updates. It introduced a new level called Sunfruit and a lot of variations to levels. Little YEETY. This was introduced back in season 2.5 on November 10th, 2020, and essentially they're miniature versions of the YEETUSes. There were 5 of them in total, and Fall Guys hosted a contest to whoever could post a video saluting to all of them. Tokens. When you complete challenges on live events, you'll receive tokens which when you collect enough of them, you can unlock different items. Tokens are usually decorated to look different each time and in line with the event. They're essentially currencies for live events. Live events. As the name suggests, they're events that players can participate in to unlock exclusive skins usually reserved for that event. Typically, a live event has challenges players need to complete, and if they do, they get rewards. Live events will typically last a week or so, but can vary from event for event. Throw and pick. The throw and pick strat is where you pick up an object, egg, candy, or whatever, and you will throw them right in front of you and then proceed to pick them up again. This is used because you run faster without holding an object. So you throw the object in front of you, run, and pick it up again. Also really useful if someone is trying to grab you while you have an object in your hand. Grabbers/griefers. Grabbers are people who, well, grab others. Pretty self-explanatory. People also often call them griefers as well. Bean tornadoes. The bean tornadoes happen when many close together players are moving at once, causing unpredictable collisions. So basically, in English, when a bunch of people would get together and they would just collide and bump into each other, all of a sudden the collision would just go out of whack, just causing everyone to move like they were in a tornado. Thankfully, this doesn't happen anymore, but did happen when players would get close together, like in Perfect Match or Sunfruit. Body blocking. It's when you're in midair and get hit by someone and you just drop down. Their body blocked you from moving forwards, essentially. This is common in maps like Lily Leapers, where you hit someone's body and you just fall down because of it. Tom. Fall Guys has bots and they appear in certain maps such as Dizzy Heights, DoorDash, Gate Crash, Hit Parade, Night Fever, Treetop Tumble, Tundra Run, and the Whirly Gig. And in the in-game files, they're referred to as Toms. Dive cancelling, used mainly in maps like Lily Leapers to speedrun through the map. You would dive onto a pad, then immediately dive to cut the animation of you floating in midair. You'll often hear me use dive cancelling throughout my Lily Leapers guides. LTM'S, or limited time modes. They are special playlists Mediatonic will add to Fall Guys, and they will often be there for a limited time, and they will be replaced by another one. Stadium Star Shows, which contains all the new Season 1 free-for-all maps, is considered an LTM. Vibe check. Mediatonic will often hold surveys that they send to people to see how players feel about Fall Guys on that particular week. It's not a big big side-wide survey. This is just a weekly survey. Board of Beans, or B.O.B as they're often referred to. These are people who get access to limited betas, they get sneak peeks of the pre-release features and content, along with exclusive game rewards. In order to be part of the Board of Beans, you have to be 18 plus to sign up. You can join the Board of Beans by signing up at the end of these site-wide surveys that Mediatonic will often release. Not the weekly ones, but the big surveys that they often post on the social media channels and the in-game news feed. Although if you do sign up, there won't be a guarantee that you'll make it in, but it's worth a shot. Big STREAMUS. These are live streams that Mediatonic will do to showcase trailers, rounds, gameplay, costume, features, the fame path, and interviews with developers. And they started doing this during season 5, and they did big STREAMUS 2 for season 6, but they didn't do one for season 1 free-for-all. Who knows if they'll do a big STREAMUS 3 or they'll be rebranded or change it, but this was essentially their way of just showing all the content that will be featured in a new season. Punchers. The boxing gloves you see in maps like Freezy Peak, Snowy Scrap, Bubble Trouble, Tundra Run, and more are referred to as punchers. King Frog. The big frog at the end of Treetop Tumble is called King Frog or King Julius. King Frog can also be seen as a variant in Bubble Trouble as well. PRIMOS. You'll often hear OG players say this. Basically, before Showbucks got its name, Mediatonic called them PRIMOS in the in-game files, but they later changed it to Showbucks. Time wasters. People who often stand in front of the finish line but just choose not to cross it, running down the clock until the very last second. Slime Scraper and Slime Climb are the maps where you'll meet time wasters the most. SBMM. Skill-based matchmaking is what SBMM stands for. It's based off your crown rank, so if you have a low crown rank, it'll pair you up with people who have a low crown rank as well. If you have a high crown rank, it'll put you in lobbies with people who are close to your crown rank. It's not perfect, but it's designed so newbies don't get paired up with sweats. People who are super good at the game and get first place almost every time. People who have golden skins are often referred to as sweats because of how much they play the game. Super jumps. When you land on a bouncy pad and you jump really high, that's what a super jump is. Super dives. This used to be something you could do in Lost Temple, where if you dove onto a door, you would get boosted forwards. However, it's been patched out and isn't possible to do. God spawn. When you get the best possible spawn for a particular map, that is referred to as God spawn. For race maps, it's often in the front row. And Lily Leapers, it's in the front row and near the edges. And as for Bubble Trouble, it's where the bubbles are behind you. Bumpers. The bumpers are a type of obstacle, and examples of this are the pink bumpers on Fruit Shoot, yellow bumpers on Slime Climb, and the purple bumper on Slime Scraper. They usually come in the shape of a triangle and are bouncy when you jump on them. Double diving. Double diving is a tech that you do at the end of Lost Temple. Essentially, you dive onto the small pad and then you immediately dive onto the big pad. This is significantly faster than taking the pads the normal way.
Wait, is this guy Peter Pan? Oh, hold on. Oh no.
It's never. What?
Wait, there's hope. No way. Did
You got it.
Oh my god. That was insane. I can't believe you got that.
Crazy levels of gameplay.